Dear friends, in today's video, we will present the incident from the life of a pious and devout young woman, a Hafiza of the Holy Quran, which eventually stirred a storm of sensation throughout the entire area. She walked on the path of Allah, regularly recited the Quran, and remained devoted to worship. Suddenly, this girl fell ill with a mysterious sickness and passed away. But what happened after her death left everyone present utterly shocked. Why was such a terrifying sight seen inside the grave of a virtuous Hafiza girl? Because of what mistake or sin did she meet such an end? To know the complete truth, be sure to watch the video till the end. If you like the video, give it a like. And if you are new to our channel, then click on the red subscribe button right now and turn on the bell icon beside it. So, let's begin. Friends, the incident begins with a young Hafiza. She was not only beautiful, but also lived a life full of worship. Once you saw her, you could not turn your eyes away. The villagers would say, if the moon saw her face just once, it would hide itself in shyness. There was a mark of prostration on her forehead, the light of Nur on her face, and the radiance of piety in her heart. Not only in beauty, her true identity lay in worship and righteous deeds. Night after night, she would stand in prayer and cry in prostration. Her days would pass in Quran recitation, dhikr, and remembrance of Allah. In the lanes of the village and surrounding areas, news of her beauty and piety had spread. People would say, "This girl is not from this world, but a gift from Jannah." She had three qualities that captured everyone's heart: unmatched beauty, devotion to worship, and still being unmarried. Many young men silently hoped for the day they could marry such a righteous girl. In the end, her nikah was arranged with a pious young man. As soon as the news spread, a wave of joy swept through the village. Everyone said, "Fortune is opened. Getting the most beautiful and righteous woman in the world as a wife is a blessing of destiny." The wedding day came. In a white dress, the bride looked as if a hur had descended from the heavens. On her face, the light of the Quran and beauty shone together, bringing peace all around. The groom was filled with gratitude, silently saying to himself, "O Allah, how great is the mercy you have shown." People around were saying, "You are truly fortunate. Such a righteous wife does not come into everyone's fate." Upon entering the home, the bride sat by the bedside, her eyes lowered, as if even the moon had hidden its light. The groom slowly approached and softly said, "O my life partner, I promise in the name of Allah, I will protect your honor, stand by you in happiness and sorrow, respect your parents like my own, face all trials of life together, and never leave you alone." The bride shyly lowered her head and silently agreed. Thus, the first days of their married life passed in love, peace, and mercy. Every morning brought new joy. The sound of Quran recitation filled the house. Extra prayers were offered, mutual respect between husband and wife. Everything carried the fragrance of righteousness. The groom would often thank Allah, saying, "O my Lord, you have granted me the most righteous and beautiful wife in the world." But in this world, happiness never remains the same. One day, suddenly, the young woman fell seriously ill. Slowly, her body became weak, and the glow of her beauty began to fade. The husband served her day and night, crying in supplication to Allah, "O Allah, grant my wife Shifa." Yet, by Allah's will, the day came when death took her away. The husband silently gazed at his wife's lifeless body. Waves of emptiness and grief crashed inside his chest. He knew that worldly beauty is temporary, but deeds are eternal. Arrangements for the janazah began. Women prepared to give her the final bath. But when they uncovered the bride's face, the women present were shocked. The same face that once made everyone remember Allah now bore a terrible hardness and frightening change. Tears welled in some eyes, some lips trembled, and everyone silently thought, "What happened to her?" Then began preparations for burial, but no one knew that in the graveyard, a scene awaited that would shake everyone's hearts. As soon as they lifted the coffin onto their shoulders, everyone felt its weight was unusually heavy, as if they were carrying a large piece of iron, not wood. Each person could only walk 2 or 3 steps before stopping to catch their breath. Some set it down, some leaned on the shoulder of the person beside them. On some lips was tasbih, in some eyes tears, and in the air a silent hum of sobs and prayers. With great difficulty, slowly, everyone made their way towards the graveyard. The grave was dug, dust, silence, and a tense atmosphere all around. As soon as the janazah ended, those working in the burial wanted to first look inside the grave, and at that very moment, the scene that made everyone tremble appeared. Countless insects, crawling bugs, snakes, and scorpions with open mouths, as if they had been starving for days and were ready to pounce on something. Those near the grave stepped back. Some hands began to shake. Some faces went pale. Some immediately began to recite Astaghfirullah, while others moved away in fear. The news of this scene spread instantly. The husband standing beside the coffin collapsed to the ground, his shoulders shaking, tears in his eyes, and in a trembling voice he said, "O Allah, what is happening? Why to my wife?" An elderly man beside him spoke slowly but clearly, "If the beauty of this world mixes with disobedience to Allah, its end becomes severe. Perhaps pride had entered her heart. Perhaps there was negligence in worship. Allah knows best." It was decided this grave would be closed and another dug a little farther away. Everyone thought maybe the place was not suitable. A second grave was dug, but as soon as the soil was removed, the same scene appeared. Insects, snakes, and scorpions with open mouths. Seeing this, muffled cries rose from the crowd. Some ran away, some gasped, some began to weep. Still, gathering courage, they closed the grave and dug a third one, then a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, even the seventh. In every grave, the same state. As if in each was written the same warning: stop, take a lesson. People were stunned. What should be done now? Whispers spread. Just then, the elderly man said, "No matter how many graves you dig, today you will see the same condition. This is a sign of punishment from Allah. The burial must be done. In whatever state she is in, it is better to finish it. If you delay, fear and panic will only grow." Everyone nodded, trembling. The decision was made quickly. No more new graves. The burial would be done. Then the coffin was lowered swiftly into the grave. Soil was thrown in quickly, some reciting prayers, others lowering their heads and weeping. As soon as the filling was complete, many, out of fear, walked straight ahead without looking back, as if escaping the graveyard as fast as possible would save them. Just then, the husband's deep voice rang out, "Stop! Everyone, please wait." The people who were hurrying stopped. Wiping his eyes, he said, "Before you leave, listen to one thing. The scene of punishment you saw inside my wife's grave. We must know the reason for it. If we don't know what mistake led to such an end, none of us will be able to take a lesson." People gathered again. The surrounding silence became dense. Someone said, "Tell us, what was the mistake? We want to hear." The husband said, "Not only the men, call your wives too. Everyone must hear this today, so that we can all be careful." The news spread. After a while, women from nearby houses also came and stood. Some pulled their shawls over. Some had tasbih in their hands. Everyone's eyes full of questions and concern. At the edge of the grave was a suffocating silence. In the air, grief and fear mixed with curiosity. The husband looked around and slowly said, "Today I will reveal to you 5 things. The 5 things my wife used to say, which became the cause of great disaster for her. Listen carefully and take a lesson." People silently nodded. From here would begin the mirror of a harsh truth. What words, what behaviors slowly push a person towards destruction? Everyone would hear in the next moment. When everyone was standing quietly, the husband slowly began to speak. "Regarding my wife, today I want to tell you 5 things. These were her big mistakes. Listen carefully so that no one repeats them. The first mistake, she would often hurt me by talking about poverty," the husband said. She would say, "You are poor, but my father's family is rich. They did wrong by binding me to a helpless and unworthy man like you." These words would pierce my chest. I would try to do everything within my means, but such insults broke me from inside. I would cry the whole night and say to Allah, "Oh Allah, how long will I hear this humiliation?" The second mistake, belittling her husband's hard work. He said, "When I returned home in the evening after working all day, I wanted at least 2 kind words. But instead, she would say, 'What work can you even do properly? You can't do anything.' Hearing these words doubled my exhaustion. It felt as if all my efforts were in vain. The third mistake, disrespect towards father-in-law and mother-in-law. The husband lowered his head and said, "I respected my parents greatly, but she would say such things about them that I would not even say to an enemy. Hearing insulting words about those who raised me, cared for me, my heart would bleed. I saw with my own eyes how this reduced peace and blessings in the family." The fourth mistake, nashukriya, ingratitude. "I would do whatever I could for her comfort and happiness," he said. Yet she would say, "What have you ever done for me?" Not even a single thank you would I receive. Not valuing a person's effort is a great disease. It cuts the bonds of affection in a home. It closes the doors of the heart. The fifth and most dreadful mistake, pride in beauty. The husband's voice trembled. She would be arrogant about her beauty. She would say, "It is because of my beauty that you are fortunate. Otherwise, nothing good would have been in your fate." Remember, pride belongs only to Allah. When a human tries to pull that cloak, only humiliation and punishment come down. In the end, this arrogance covered her deeds and made her grave terrifying. Hearing these words, the whispers among the women stopped. Many had tears in their eyes. Some covered their faces with their shawls. One softly said, "What should we do?" The husband said, "Those of you listening today, be cautious yourselves, and tell the women in your homes never to say any of these 5 things to their husbands: respect, kind words, gratitude. These keep a marriage alive. Insult, ingratitude, and arrogance. These bring destruction." He continued, "If you take these mistakes lightly, the ending can be bad. You may not be able to leave with Iman. The grave can become as dreadful as a pit of hell. So, repent today, control your tongue, respect your in-laws, value your husband's efforts, and do not be proud of beauty. Beauty is temporary, but deeds are eternal." The air in the graveyard grew heavy. The men lowered their heads. The women silently wiped their eyes. In some hands, tasbih moved. On some lips, astaghfirullah. Everyone thought in their hearts, "From today, I will be careful in my words and actions." The husband raised both hands and said, "O Allah, protect our tongues, save us from ingratitude and arrogance, grant love, affection, and honor in our marriages, and accept our deeds." All around was silent. No one spoke. Only the sound of weeping, the tune of prayer. People understood. Whether or not the scene in the grave was real, the lesson of today must not be missed. From here would begin their path back. And right then, the husband looked at everyone one last time and said, "Take this lesson home. Make your family understand. Make this day a day of change." Hearing the husband's last words, an unusual silence fell over the entire graveyard. Men and women alike seemed lost within themselves. Some pulled shawls over their faces. Some quietly counted tasbih. Others kept gazing at the grave with tear-filled eyes. In the air floated a mixture of grief, fear, and regret. The husband was still standing beside the grave. His eyes were red, his voice trembling. He raised his hands and in a tearful voice prayed, "O Allah, never let words leave our tongues that destroy our lives and our iman. O Allah, save us from arrogance, ingratitude, disrespect, insult, and pride. O Allah, accept our deeds, grant love and mercy in our marriages, and protect us from the punishment of the grave." With his prayer, the people's lips also began to move. Ameen, Ameen. As the prayer ended, people slowly began to leave. Some held their wives' hands tightly. Some silently hugged their husbands. Tears in the eyes of the women, determination on the faces of the men. They would carry today's lesson in their hearts. While leaving the graveyard, the same words were on everyone's lips. From now on, I will be careful. I will not speak hurtful words. I will respect each other. Back home, many in the village began thinking about their own lives. Some asked forgiveness from their wives. Some went to their mothers-in-law and greeted them with salam. Some quietly cried to Allah and repented. From that day, quarrels between husband and wife in the village decreased greatly, and relations with in-laws became sweeter than before. And that grave of the Hafiza of Quran, where that dreadful scene had been seen, became a lesson and warning for the entire area. People would go there and stand silently, thinking, worldly beauty, wealth, or pride will be of no buy inside the grave. Only righteous deeds and the pleasure of Allah will save us. The husband too would go every day after Fajr to the grave and pray, but there were always tears in his eyes. He would only say, "O Allah, forgive my wife's sins, pardon her, and guide all of us." This incident remained a lasting lesson for everyone. In married life, respect, gratitude, kind words, and love bring peace. But insult, disrespect, arrogance, and ingratitude bring destruction, in this world and in the hereafter. Friends, this was the real and terrifying incident that after the life and death of a pious young Hafiza of the Quran, which is a great lesson for all of us. Worldly beauty, wealth, or pride will be of no use inside the grave. Only righteous deeds, good conduct, and the pleasure of Allah will remain forever. So let us all control our tongues, maintain love and respect between husband and wife, respect our in-laws, and save ourselves from arrogance and ingratitude. May Allah grant all of us the ability to walk the straight path, grant us success in this world and the hereafter, and protect us from the punishment of the grave. Ameen. If you have learned from this incident, then share the video widely, give it a like, and if you are new to our channel, click on the red subscribe button now and turn on the bell icon. Allah Hafiz.